It is August 1st, so that means it is time to film our July garden tour video. I think garden tour videos are my favorite. We can really see the amount of growth in our garden from one month to the next. I hope you guys enjoy these videos as much as I like making them. As we walk into the front of our garden, we have our tomatoes on this side. We have Cherokee purple tomatoes, beefsteak tomatoes, and Ace 55 tomatoes in this row. On this side we have our beans. We have pole beans along the fence, and then in these two rows we have our bush beans. And then we have large marigold flowers at the end of everything. In this row we have our spicy peppers. We have habaneros, poblanos, Anaheims, and jalapenos. In this row we have our cherry tomatoes. We have purple cherries and red cherries in there. In this row we have basil, okra, summer squash, zucchini, and rosemary. In this row we have collard greens, Swiss chard, peas, and tomatoes. Here's our corn. It's not very tall, but it's already starting to get tassels. I don't know if it means it's gonna do anything or if it's not gonna do anything. There are some little ears forming in through here. They're very small. In this bed over here we have our carrots, and then we have dill all along the back side of it. And then we have Brussels sprouts in each corner. The Brussels sprouts are getting pretty big. I've been picking the leaves off as the plant grows. I think I'm gonna pull some Brussels sprouts off here pretty soon and then have them for dinner. So here we have our broccoli. We have been harvesting a lot from this. We've been getting the little side shoots now. Some of them are going to flower. I haven't been picking them fast enough apparently. Over here next to the broccoli we have our cauliflower. It's still not really doing anything. It's actually starting to look pretty bad. I did tie some up to try to blanch them. I don't know if these are the kind that need to have complete darkness for a head to form. So any of them that still looked pretty decent, I tied them up to see if they will do anything. And then over here we have our red cabbage. They are making heads. They're looking pretty bad. We have them under these trees. We probably shouldn't have done that. They have lots of debris in them, and I don't think they're getting enough sun. And then we also have our volunteer potato plant in this area also. In this bed we had our beets, we pulled them up and we planted carrots. We also still have our Brussels sprouts. These are the ones that I started from seed. They're really not doing anything. I'm just letting them stay here and we'll just see what happens with them. We have our onion flower in this bed. And then we did leave some of our beets in here because when we were pulling them, we noticed this end, the beets weren't very large. So we just left them in here and they can continue to grow. In this bed over here, we have our carrot flowers. These are second-year carrots. They do look like Queen Anne's lace. I know that they're not. They came up in a perfect row. This is where we had carrots last year. So we will save the seeds from these flowers to grow our carrots next year. And then we have all of our sweet peppers in this bed also. In this end of the bed, we did have our garlic. We pulled it all the other day. We did leave one with escape, and we're gonna see if it makes garlic bulbs, and we'll try to grow garlic from that. And we have another onion flower. So for the onion flower, to check for seeds, I just keep pulling one of these little pods off, and I just break it open. And you wanna wait until this is dry and the seeds are black, and we're not there yet. It does have the seeds in them, but they're not ready to be harvested yet. Here we have some greens. We have rainbow chard, dinosaur kale, green leafy kale, and there is some sage in here. We also had a friend give me some comfrey root. I planted it and it is doing really well right here. Here is our potatoes. They have taken over this whole space. You can't even see the walkway that was through here. There's 2 rows. We have purple potatoes, German butterball potatoes, russet potatoes, Yukon gold potatoes, and Pontiac red potatoes in here. In this row, we have some cayenne peppers, green onions, leeks, onions, and cabbages. Down here, we have our cabbages. We only have 2 early cabbages left. We've harvested the rest of them. And then we have our late cabbages coming in. They are making heads and they are looking pretty good. In this row, we have our celery. We have been harvesting celery and eating it. We have our kale. We have gotten a ton of kale this year. We've been feeding it to the animals, eating it, freezing it. It has really produced a lot. Next to the kale, we have beets. We have golden beets and red beets in here. We also have a volunteer potato plant in this row that has gotten really big and taken up a lot of space. And then we have more onions. These were planted later than the onions over here, so we'll have 2 different crops of onions. And we have radishes. Some of them are going to flower. We haven't picked them enough. We planted a lot of radishes here and we're kind of just radished out at this point. Back here on this trellis, we have our cucumbers. We didn't plant any pickle varieties this year. We just did the long slicing cucumbers. In this row, we have our San Marzano tomatoes. They are a paste tomato. They're a little bit different than a Roma, but they're pretty comparable. Over here is where we used to have the goats, and these are the voluntary plants that came up. We have a few different types of squash and some sunflowers back here. You're on the wrong side of the fence, little goat. This is still in the old goat pen, but we had some corn coming up here and we just decided to let it grow and do its thing. I planted sunflowers along here. And then back here are the raspberry plants that we transplanted. The back two are doing okay. That one over there, the goats have ate multiple times and hopefully it'll come back, but right now it doesn't have any leaves on it. I also had a friend give us some horseradish root. We planted it back here and it is growing pretty well. Down here is our pumpkin patch. I haven't really maintained this at all. It's kind of just if they make it, they make it. If they don't, well then they don't. So there's a lot of weeds down here. We did have some really heavy rains and I kind of washed out my melon plants. They are regrowing, but I don't think they're gonna do anything this year. There's flowers on some of the pumpkins, but it's really just whatever they do down here. I haven't maintained it at all. That is going to wrap it up for this video. We have noticed a lot of growth in our garden between last month and this month. I cannot wait for our tomatoes to be ready and our green beans to be ready. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.